Alrighty, welcome to episode 169 of Tokwa's Ask Us Anything. As usual, it's been a pretty busy news week. Tesla's Model Y topped EV sales in Australia in 2023 with 28,769 units sold and delivered. This ranks it as Australia's sixth most popular vehicle of any type. Model Y's rapid dominance is apparent when compared to Australia's total 2021 EV sales of 24,078 a mere 2 years ago. Tesla has achieved record production and delivery figures for the 2023 calendar year with 1,845,985 and 1,808,581 vehicles respectively. Tesla has announced its Q4 earnings call will be held on Thursday morning, 25th of January at 6:30 Perth time. Tesla has finally launched its Highland upgraded Model 3 in North America with deliveries expected to commence later this month. Gidgee Genup-based grey nomads who we'll call Shane and Sarah still haven't returned from their trip to Perth. After driving aimlessly for over 7,500 kilometres, they seem to have found themselves in Bowen, Queensland. Oh, they must have been looking for bones in town. But that was demolished about 4 decades ago. Anyway, that was this week's news. Indeed it was. So welcome to the first episode of Ask Us Anything this year, 2024. And the stars of the show are a couple that we will call uh, Shane and Sarah, not their real names. So,
Happy New
Shane
Year.
and Sarah, how are you going?
We're going good from Bowen in Queensland, not Bowans in Central Perth Mall.
Okay, we'll get it. We'll get your running ledger shortly, but as is customary and usually designed to elicit a 5-second pregnant pause, if anyone is new and would like to unmute and introduce yourself, please do so now.
All right, I'll start.
Oh, Penny, welcome.
I am embarking on the Tesla journey. Purchasing one later this year. So I've been following all the Facebook updates and all of that sort of thing. It's been very interesting from someone who's not particularly techie. I've had to upskill quite a bit.
Fantastic. And which Tesla are you looking at
The
to
Y.
buy?
I'm looking at the Y and trying to decide whether I get the base model or the long range. And I'm hoping to sort of get a bit more information about the two of them. I mean, I've been on the website and had a look at, the price and all of that sort of thing and how much it is. With a view possibly to some sort of in a galaxy far into the future of doing some sort of around Australia traveling or whatever, and whether you can still do it on the Y base model or whether you really have to upgrade to a long range.
Well, it's fortunate, and we might just touch on this right now because the iron is hot. I've personally done it in both the long range version and the standard range version. And in fact, Pete, Pete, it must be a lot lighter where you are. That's really interesting. We've both done it in the standard range version, and so the short answer is it can absolutely be done.
Good.
Now,
Can I hear
this is a really strange thing to say, and I would never have said this a couple of years ago, but because the WEV network, which is a whole network of chargers going all the way up and down the coastal region of Western Australia, because that's going to be in place within the next 6 months, you really don't need the long range version. And there are a couple of idiosyncrasies with the long range compared to the standard range that make the standard range for day-to-day use just as good, if not slightly better than the long range. So if you're a little bit price conscious and you don't really need the all-wheel drive feature of the long range Model Y, and if you don't really want the extra acceleration of the long range compared to the standard, then personally, I would be very happy to buy a standard range Model Y. It'll do everything
Excellent.
it needs you need it to do. And yes, you can absolutely drive around Australia with it.
Great. Oh, well, I can leave the meeting now, can't I?
Oh no, please don't. You've got a lot to learn,
Yes,
and
I have got a lot to learn.
but
You
but
could
the great
even
thing
strap,
is
you
you
could
can
even strap
also
a caravan to the back of a standard range and drive that around Australia. I mean,
Okay.
Might be
yeah. So
some
we're
car
going.
in hand in the next 6 months. You never know.
maybe 4.
That's it. But yeah, please stay with us. And I mean, yes, you have a lot to learn, but the great thing is you don't have to learn it all at once. You don't have to be concerned that you need to know everything before you get the car. Um, you've probably met enough people and seen enough people with Teslas and with experience of Teslas that we all universally love these cars. They are truly awesome. And the only thing you'll ever regret upon buying your car, your Tesla, is not having done it sooner.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
so whenever you do it is the right time.
yeah,
But once you've got it, you'll always wonder why you didn't do it sooner.
yes.
So
You're right. I've heard that from many people. The only reason I'm holding out now is I'm going away for 5 weeks, and I thought I'm not going to spend the first 5 weeks of the warranty with it sitting in the garage. So
yep,
it's going to be time so that it almost arrives the day I get back.
awesome, fantastic.
Yeah.
Alrighty,
And
and once again,
another,
welcome. And so, hang on 2 seconds, Pete. We'll just get some other people to introduce themselves. So, if there is anyone else that is new and would like to say hello, please do so. Or maybe later. Go on, Pete. You were going to say something.
oh, just a quick consideration for Penny if she's looking at the Model Y. You may want to have a look into the potential of the Juniper update. So just like the Model 3 has been refreshed recently with what's called a Highland refresh, there will be a similar one coming to the Model Y. It may not be here for another 6 months, could be another 12 months, who knows. But just before you do press the button and go ahead with your order, just make sure that you're doing it with a fully informed mind. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Uh,
I gather almost that it's a bit of everyone sort of, it's in the ether, things are coming, no one's sure, and
yeah. It
that
will
seems
come.
to
The
be
question is, I think the question is when rather than if. So yeah, so it will come. It will be a refreshed vehicle. It will look better. Some people have already said that they actually prefer the current version because it will have stalks. So
yeah.
you'll be able to turn left and right, with a left stalk, and you'll be able to use the right stalk to change gears rather than doing it on the screen. So some people prefer that. So they prefer the current Model Y, but comes down to personal preferences. But yeah, just as long as you're aware of that.
And in fact, Penny, I guess you could say the killer app for the Highland Model 3 and the Juniper Model Y will have the same feature. One of the biggest differences, apart from a very minor cosmetic difference, is the screen for the backseat passengers. Now, if you're not going to necessarily have many or any backseat passengers, then that feature alone is basically wasted. And like Pete said, there are some subtle, well, not that subtle differences in the way you use the indicator. So if you're sort of more familiar with standard cars, then I think you are going to be perfectly happy with the current format of the current Model Y. And yeah, look, Juniper's coming. As we saw in the news, in the States, they actually kept a very good lid on releasing the Highland Model 3 into North America. I mean, obviously it had been done into Australia and Europe and Asia, but they did a fairly good job of keeping that a lid on the actual release. But don't let that impede your decision. It's not as if the Juniper Model Y is suddenly a massive, huge difference. It's really, most of the differences are under the skin, which you'll never see. And like Pete said, some differences are the button pressing for indicators, and that's great on the freeway. But when you're at a roundabout, quite a lot of people who love Teslas just don't enjoy it, to be honest. So
Yeah.
yeah, just set your own timeline and be happy with the car you order. And look, if it
Yes.
changes, it's like anything, you know, you can
Yeah.
buy anything and the next week it changes, but it doesn't take away from the fact that what you've got is awesome and will be awesome for many years to come.
Harold, did you want to mention about the different price points, for example, the EV rebate, stuff like that?
Oh yes, so there's about, it's hard to tell because the latest official figure, and it's a little bit misleading. I think it was 3,000. It was a high 3,000 figure
Just under
of
4,000.
of the rebates that have been paid, and that was from the 30th of November. Now there's a difference between applying for it and getting paid for it. In fact, we had a member that we met at our casual meetup last week that said I think it took about 6 weeks for payment to be made. So basically the WA government has got a is it 3,500? I think it is $3,500 rebate as long as the dutiable value of your car is less than $70,000. So if you look at the current Model Y, you can get, as long as you order the standard range version, you can then order any one accessory. Now, whether that accessory is different paint to the pearl white, or you can have a black and white interior, or you can have different wheels. Personally,
I've decided I want one of those. Yeah.
yeah. So
And that'll still
personally,
keep me under the 70,000.
yes.
Yes.
So actually, what I'll do is I'll just open up Tesla's website just to show you, so that you make sure that it is within the rebate. Also, if you have any friends, which no doubt you have, that have Teslas, also make sure to order your car using their referral link.
Yep.
So
I've spoken to a nephew about it.
fantastic. So use your nephew's link. It's we call it a referral code, but in actual terms, it's a link that you must order the car through that link. So you use the link on a web browser or your phone, and then it will say something like "Welcome to so and so's referral," whatever, or save using so and so's referral code, and then it will show you basically the Model Y, and then you click through it to order. So if we have a look,
Because when I spoke to my nephew, I mean, he was telling me lots of things, but when I said about this referral code, he didn't know about it.
does he have a Tesla?
Yeah. He's got
Yeah, so he does. So he has it. So all he needs to do is look in his Tesla app under
it's
his
in his
profile.
Tesla.
Yes,
Okay.
under his Tesla app, under his profile, and then he can share the link with you and just send it to you as a text message.
Okay.
And then I won't bring a link up right now because that'll confuse people. But basically, when you look at the Model Y, which
So
is
$375 rebate to the buyer.
That's right. So you save, and you also get enhanced autopilot for free for about 3 months. So when you order, make sure, see how you can see the drive away price.
Yeah.
That is not the dutable value.
Right.
You've got to look here at the vehicle subtotal, including GST. This one is 67,200. As long as that's below 70, it qualifies. So, for example, this is a standard Model Y, what we colloquially call poverty pearl white, and you can add any one feature. So if we add color, it's still below the dutable value, which is 68,700. You'll get also $375 off for using a referral. So you can pick any color you like, or you can pick any wheels you like.
Yep.
And again, that will also be below just $400 below the dutable value. Or you can pick the black and white interior.
Yep.
And that again is under. But if you pick two options, you will blast through, and that will be a very expensive option because you'll lose $3,500. So just pick the one option, if any. I mean, if you like the standard wheels and the standard color and the black interior, then that's the easiest thing to do. But like I said, definitely use your nephew's referral link
Yep.
and you have to actually order the car using the link. You cannot apply it afterwards.
Right.
So in other words, you can't order it on Tesla's standard website and then ask someone to apply the link or something. They will not do that. So
I've got to, I still haven't got it right, but he's got to look on his
yes, on
app.
his
Now I have
app.
to order it through his app.
No. You just let me see. I'll just get my Tesla app. I'll see if I can do this.
Look, I might be taking up a bit too much time. There might be
No, not at all. Not at all.
because I mean, you people know all of this. So
It doesn't matter.
No,
Doesn't matter.
don't worry. So
You'll have
we've got
He can.
What
all
we're
the
here for.
time.
Don't worry about wasting time. It's what
Okay,
we do.
so we've got this will be his app.
Yep.
Sorry, his Tesla app, and at the bottom,
Yep.
sorry, no, in the top right hand corner, you
Yep.
go to profile, and you've got refer and earn,
Right.
and let's just click on that, and I'll just check, and then you can say get started. So when you get started, you can then actually refer now. So when you do that, and he can do this, and if he doesn't, the easiest way to do it is ask your nephew to look at youtube.com/Tokwa, because this video is this session's being recorded on YouTube. And just get him to watch the first few minutes of the show, and then he can just follow those steps. And then once he gets you the referral link, look, you can order your car on your mobile phone if you wish. It's super easy. It's just a website, and it's only a $250 deposit or something like, or was it
400.
Sorry, $400 deposit,
400, yeah.
and it's super easy to do. So yeah, just make sure you use his link, and that way you'll get a $375 discount, and you'll also get Enhanced Autopilot free for the first 3 months.
Right.
Now, don't necessarily worry about what Enhanced Autopilot is.
Yeah.
We'll get into that later.
Yeah.
But you get it for nothing, so it's a handy thing to have.
And I've got a vague idea. I've sort of, been around and sort of don't know the nuts and bolts, but I've got a vague idea. It was just how to get started with the referral that I was wondering about.
Yep.
Thank
And
you so
Also,
much.
don't order Enhanced Autopilot or Full Self-Drive when you're ordering your Tesla.
Don't do that, did you say?
No, so
Do
they
not.
are extra. They cost an extra $5,100.
Yeah.
But the point is, if I actually added that now, you'll notice that the drive-away price now has increased
Yeah.
a lot, because you're actually paying stamp duty
Yeah.
on the purchase. Whereas if you buy it, you can buy it for exactly the same amount of money
Oh.
after you bought the car. In fact, the day you receive the car, if you wanted to pay that, if you wanted to buy it, you just go open your Tesla app and hit buy. And it will then confirm that you want to use Apple Pay or Google Pay or whatever, or credit card, and you can buy it online instantly.
Yeah. Excellent.
But without paying tax.
Yes,
Without paying the stamp duty, or potentially if you
More-
buy the more expensive versions, any luxury car tax.
It's great. The more I hear this from different people, the more I'm understanding how the whole thing works. I went into the exhibition centre when the EV exhibition was on, and I spoke at length to someone whose name I never got, and he was fantastic.
Oh, that's right.
And I was the one who put on the Facebook page that
notebook.
Someone spent forever with me, and I really appreciate the fact that you guys are so committed and enthusiastic and knowledgeable, and I can't wait to get my Tesla.
Awesome.
A couple of other
Well-
things quickly. Just
Yes.
a couple of ones. One is that if the other big difference for the Juniper version, it's got ventilated front seats that might be of interest,
Mm-hmm.
or that's what it might have. Also, when the Juniper version comes out, it'll probably be more expensive, because
Yes.
so that will probably take you over that limit, or possibly might, which is
Yeah.
consideration. And the last thing is, if you do go for the enhanced wheels, don't forget they probably will reduce your actual range.
Yeah,
if you go
no,
for the bigger
I
wheels.
wasn't going to go for the wheels. I'm not into fancy at all.
But there's things to bear in mind.
Yeah. Can I ask then, if the Juniper comes in, that means they will be phasing out all the current stock with the
Yeah.
stalk and that. Yeah, okay.
Yes,
And they
so you
might be
won't be
cheaper.
able to get. Yeah, they'll be cheaper, but they're in such high demand that there isn't a lot of inventory. So once you get your order in, a number of weeks later, you'll get a VIN allocated, and
Yeah.
that would have been a car that was built in Shanghai
Mm.
at the time you get the VIN allocated, and then it'll come to Australia or to Perth a few weeks later.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Tesla, they don't really have a lot of stock. So when they change from one type to another, bearing in mind Model 3, when it changed to Highland, Model 3s have not arrived into Perth for the last 3 months, and they're only arriving soon. So there's actually a gap. So there was actually a gap in sales for the Model 3 when it transitioned over. So look, to be honest, I don't think you're going to be concerned about Juniper. And the chances of Juniper occurring in the next, say, 3 or 4 or 5 months, I think is actually really low, because
good.
Tesla have other fish to fry at the moment.
Yeah.
So I just, and look, and even if it did happen, so what? You still have an awesome car.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
that was Australia's best private selling car in Australia, according to Channel 9 News. I think it was yesterday or the day before.
Yeah.
So
the question is, how do I get the the delivery date coinciding with when I get back? I'm getting back the end of May, so I want to basically get beginning of June, end of May, something like that.
Could
So
possibly
I was
miss
thinking
out
about
on
sorry?
April, if you order in April, you'll get it in May or June.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I'm going away mid-April, so I was thinking ordering about the beginning of April.
Yep.
And
So
then
what you could do is actually go to the store, go to Osborne Park, and obviously armed with your referral code or link, and just talk to the salespeople and go, I want to place this order on the basis of, tell them you're returning back, in May, and you definitely don't want to be matched with a car that's, in inventory or anything like that. You want one that's going to arrive in May, and they will probably instantly tell you, don't worry about it, order it now. You'll have you will not get one until May. So just to make sure, so they're aware, so they can possibly mark your account as one to be built custom, not matched from stock.
Okay, that sounds like a good idea. Because
and it certainly doesn't. So go on.
When I took the test drive, then I got obviously the email, when do you want to order it, or when are you buying it, or whatever, or did you just want to go for a test drive? And so I put that it wasn't for a couple of months, so that I didn't keep getting the emails or whatever that would say, come and whatever. So they hadn't been on my back afterwards, which has been really good. So yeah.
Absolutely. Awesome. Alrighty. Well, has anyone else got any questions at the moment? And because Chuck and where's Shane and Sarah gone? Oh no, they're just in the background. Because they're coming to us from the future. And being grey nomads, it's a bit late for them and they're a little bit tired. So we'll let them tell us their story. But Chuck, you've got, let me just spool up this map.
Actually, before you bring that up, there's a
Yes.
slightly newer version, because I did see a couple of mistakes. So I'll just send you the link to the new version.
You sending it via chat or?
Yeah, I'll just send it now.
Cool. Yeah, I saw some errors too, and I thought, what were you doing, Chuck? But awesome, fantastic. Two great minds think alike.
They might be different areas. We'll see. But anyway.
Okay, have you sent it, or you're sending it?
Oh, I just sent it via the X messages, same as the last one.
Oh, sorry. Can you send it through just the chat? Can you just?
Yeah.
Is that easy to do? Just copy paste in the chat.
Yep.
Oh, here we go. Cool.
And then maybe we talk about supercharger voting again. It's a new quarter.
Ooh.
I don't think it's reopened though, to be honest, but we can have a look at that. Okay, so here it is. So Chuck, you might want to explain what we're looking at.
So everyone knows about the WA EV network, which Horizon and Synergy and so on are working on. And also the plans that NRMA has for a national fast charging network, which overlays the same route. So on this map, I just thought I'd look and see how far apart they were and where they overlapped. So basically the blue dots are WA EV network, and the orange ones are NRMA, and the black dots are where they double up, where there's two in the same location. So there are a few spots. Oh, and there's a grey one at Mundrubilla. That's the Proctiva one.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah. So see, so there's
Go on,
there are a few things where they don't exactly overlap, or maybe they do depending on how the sites are named. So this is where your local knowledge will come into it, I guess. You can see it's a bit separate down near Lancelin. I think it's Lancelin.
Yeah. So there's is Ken?
You can talk.
Are you on, Ken? No, Ken's not here. I think one of them is Eneabba and the other one is Cataby, which is the NRMA ones, these two here.
Yep.
And that's as opposed to Lancelin and Jurien Bay.
Yep.
The Grand Highway versus the coastal road.
Yes, which is preferred by some people to get to Geraldton. So that's actually a useful addition to the system. This one here, Chuck, what have you got here? This should be Billabong.
Yeah, so there were a few locations where NRMA just provided I was going to say the town name. It's not even a town. It's like a locality or the actual name of the region. And so some of these ones that are close together might actually end up being the same.
Yep.
But as far as the names they've given them, they're slightly separate.
Yes. So this one here is Overlander, and Overlander is also known as, I forget now.
I'll just bring up my interactive one.
It's not
Hamlin Pool.
Yes, that's it, Hamlin Pool. And Billabong is also known as something else as well. So that might be the confusion there.
Yeah, so the NRMA, that first orange one is Nerin.
Oh, that's different. Okay, that is different to Billabong. Right, that's interesting.
That's the name anyway. Then you've got Billabong, Overlander, and then the next orange one is Wirramil. Does that sound right?
Wirramil, yes.
Wirramil, yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
Actually, Wirramil is further up, so that's actually this one here.
Yeah,
so,
that's it. Yeah.
Right, so that is different. So that's good because it means that it's a different site. So I guess you could say that if something happens at one site, such as at the moment, unfortunately, the Overlander site is dead for the WAV network, which is this one right here, and Billabong hasn't been built yet. What have you got up here, Chuck? This one here is Nanyatara.
So these ones might just be different. Might just be different names moved to the same. But actually, before you go that far up, just go to Manilia. Is it Manilia Road?
Manilia, yes. Yep.
Yeah, so you can see there's a blue and orange very close together.
Yep. Sorry, 2 seconds. I just got to undo something.
Yep.
There we go. Yeah, so Manilia is actually north of Carnarvon, so that's
so
here.
It's a bit hard to see, but there's a blue and an orange one very close together.
Yes.
That's because the orange one is labelled Lake McLeod, and I wasn't exactly sure if that was at the lake or the turn off to the lake or whatever, but it's a little bit further north than the Roadhouse.
Gotcha.
So who knows where it's going to be, but that's just another point of difference, I guess.
Yeah, cool. And then you've got something different to Karratha. Oh, is that Roebourne? Or
Roebourne, yeah.
Really?
I got Roebourne,
wow.
Roebourne instead of Karratha. Yeah.
That's great. I mean, that's right. That's good. I mean, look, it means that Karratha is a bit of a turn off because it's about 5 k's from the turn off to Karratha to the shopping centre.
Yep.
So Roebourne is actually along the road. So it means if you were passing Karratha and you didn't need to go into Karratha, you could just skip to Roebourne. And of course, we've got Wim Creek, Port Hedland, Jewel, Pardue Roadhouse, Jewel.
Yep.
Next
that
one, the blue one is Sandfire.
Yep, that's Sandfire.
And what have you got as NRMA?
The address NRMA had was 80 Mile Beach. So again, that could be, I think that might be a turn off to the beach
Yes.
that I was there?
That might be the turn off to the 80 Mile Beach Caravan Park. Although,
Yeah, that's right.
having
Yep.
said that, 80 Mile Beach itself, well, it
It's
goes for 80 miles, strangely
pretty long.
enough. It's pretty long. So you could be anywhere along there, which could also include Pardue potentially.
That's right.
Then you've got
I reckon
Bidjidanga.
I reckon those two are round the wrong way, Harold. That 80 Mile Beach should be well up towards the black, that orange dot. That's not right. 80 Mile Beach is between Samphire and Broome, trust me. It's about where that black dot is.
Okay, I've got it on the turn off that goes to the 80 Mile Beach Caravan Park, which might
No,
be
no.
right
So
down
Shane,
my end.
80 Mile
That's
Beach.
about where Pardue is.
Yeah, no, Pardue is. Yeah, Pardue
Yeah,
is. Pardue's before it. That's Pardue here.
Yeah, and then you got you got Port Hedland, Pardue, and
80 Mile Beach
then-
Caravan Park, and then you've got Sandfire.
No, but 80 Mile Beach is
Didn't think it was.
Yeah,
pretty
it's
sure
it's 40 k's. The difference between Sandfire and 80 Mile Beach Caravan Park is 40 k's overlap. So, as a matter of fact,
Oh, sorry, I am wrong. Yep, you're right. Yep, sorry.
Yeah,
However, it's
cool.
seasonal and not always available. May I just point out?
oh yes, no, absolutely. Okay, keep going, Chuck. So then we've got Bidjidanga.
Hang
Or
on, let me
Lagrange.
see. So let me just see where I am.
That's Lagrange
one's
here
Lag-
below Broome. Yep.
Yep, Lagrange and
Yep.
Broome, they're both listed on both. They're both on each list. If that makes sense.
Yep.
Then
And
it's
this
Derby,
this
Derby
one's
and
Walaire.
Walaire.
Yep. And look, Walaire's great because Derby is a 40k each way diversion.
Yeah.
As a dog leg. So really Walaire is much better if you're just driving through. And then Fitzroy Crossing,
Yep.
Mueller, Mary Pool actually. That's Mary Pool.
Mary Pool. Yep, that's it. Yep. Halls Creek and Woolman Roadhouse, they're all the same. And then as you get up to the far corner, you've got Wyndham is an extra one on the WEV network, and Lake Argyle is an extra one on the NRMA network. So I've just put that at the it wasn't the Lake Argyle
Yes. Yep.
Discovery Caravan Park or something like that.
I didn't realise we had Wyndham in the WAV network.
Yeah, I grabbed it. Actually, I might make sure that wasn't from an old map. In case I've
Yeah.
completely thrown that off.
Yeah.
I think it might be. Perhaps I'm wrong. Perhaps it's not supposed to be there.
Yeah, I think
Oh, you're right. You're right. It's not there.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, I grabbed it from an old list. Ignore that.
Yeah, no worries. Cool. So that's a pretty cool map. I mean, the only thing wrong with it is a lot of it hasn't been installed, and the NRMA hasn't installed any of it.
Yeah, that was that.
Except don't they claim one of the charges in Bunbury or something? Oh no, I thought they claimed something, but something.
The old Charge Fox Ultra Rapid. You mean?
Yes.
Yeah, I think they're doing similar in Tassie. They've claimed the old Charge Fox one there is on their map, but I don't think it's a different color. I don't think it's the same. I don't think it's one of the new ones they're planning to build.
And what's interesting, and I would argue a little bit pernicious, is one of my sons, his car is insured with SGIO. Well, it was insured with SGIO. He just got a letter from the NRMA saying that we've taken over SGIO and we are now insuring you with us.
Yeah.
So what's weird is a state-based motoring club is now becoming nationally based, and it's gotten federal funding to put in very needed fast DC charging infrastructure at the taxpayers' expense and with some of their own expense. And it looks like they're going to get to fly the flag as an advertising banner all around Australia, which is really interesting.
I think I'm not sure if it's the case with NRMA, but I know with other motoring clubs that do insurance, I know they're completely separate businesses, but they've got the same logo and name, so people do cross-identify them like that. But I think their insurance is a very regulated industry,
Separate
so
arm.
there's all these rules and things. But yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and when I was doing this map, I noticed that some of the black dots there down the bottom, the nullable ones, actually we'll have 3 chargers if you count the Toshiba ones. So you have a
Yes.
Toshiba 22 plus an NRMA plus AWA EV network. But I'm guessing that might be shifted around when it all goes live.
Well, yeah, like I mean, Mundrabilla really is literally a temporary measure because Horizon Power will bring in the WAV network to Mundrabilla in the next 6 months, and then that charger, the Delta charger, then becomes superfluous and can move to somewhere else that's needed. And obviously the Kaiguna Tritium 50 kilowatt the biofuel can then move, and the Majura Oasis and Baladonia, they can move. They're actually owned by UWA because UWA are were the body that people donated money to as a tax deductible donation to pay for the biofuel and the 2 deltas at Majura Pass and Baladonia. So they'll move to somewhere else that's useful.
Did you say Meekatharra, Leonora, Leinster? Is that what you said?
Oski, Newman. Look, I mean, the Minister for Energy and the Minister for Environment, Mr. Whitby, would be ideally placed to announce an extension of the WAV network through the Great Northern Highway. And I think everyone in this room would applaud such a move, particularly since it would cost less than $5 million. And that would be a great use of taxpayers' funds.
Absolutely.
When you're sitting on a $2 billion surplus. Just quietly. All right, Shane, I want to... Oh, man, there's so many things to talk about. Let's get the...
Hey, Peter, it's Michael. Yeah, look, I've just got a question. It's about the Synergy EV plan.
Go, Michael.
Yeah, hi, can you hear me?
Yeah. Just ask your question. Ask away.
Okay, it's about this Synergy EV plan. Apparently, for renewal, they send you an email and then you go through their links and that sort of thing to extend it.
You've got to prove that you still have ownership of the EV, so that wherever you're living, where your Synergy account is, you've got to every year prove that you still own an EV that qualifies.
Yeah, no, that's okay. How long before the plan expires do you get the email to reapply for it? I've spoken to Synergy and they keep putting me off. I've only got 10 days till it cancels to extend it. Has anyone got any idea on how long before the expiry date you receive an EV from Synergy to reapply for it?
Anyone? I don't have the rebate, so
I've got the EV plan. I didn't realise it actually expires at any point.
Every year you've got to reapply for it.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. I'll Google it. I didn't realise that.
Yeah.
I had to renew it after the first year. Now, I'm grandfathered on the very old EV plan of 30 cents, 20 cents or whatever it is. And I did it for the first year. And I haven't done it for the last couple of years. And as far as I can see on my electricity bills, I'm still on it. But that may be because I'm grandfathered into the old plan.
Yeah.
Well, maybe Michael, you don't have to worry, because if you haven't received notification that they want you to renew or prove ongoing qualification, perhaps like in Nigel's case, they did it once and then they've given up. And maybe they can just look you up on the Department of Transport and verify there's still an EV registered at that address, and maybe that's good enough for them from now on.
Well, I've spoken to Synergy a couple of times, and they've said that the same thing applies as you've done every year. I've done it for 2 years. This will be the 3rd year. And they're saying, well, yeah, you've got to get an email from Synergy, which gives you the link to reapply where you post in your where you attach your registration certificate and all that sort of stuff. Does
Maybe
anyone?
check your junk mail.
Yeah, I have. Yeah.
Maybe.
Okay.
There's nothing on the website that I can see that says that you've got to. There's a shelf life on it. Yeah.
Well,
Have you logged into your Synergy account on my account?
Yeah, I have.
There's nothing on there.
There's nothing there yet. Yeah, and I've spoken to Synergy numerous times. I find Synergy very difficult to talk to.
No, never.
Okay, Michael, so we might take that on notice and do a little bit of digging. Look, I guess the good thing, the thing is, if they wrongly take you off the EV deal,
yep,
they will absolutely reinstate it, because it'll be a mistake on their part for not having forwarded it to you if that's what they wanted to do. So, incidentally, Michael, have you got the old plan, which is the it's a standard L1 tariff during the day, and you've get like just a discount at night time? Is that what you've got? The old plan that was about 2 years ago?
Yeah, I've got the plan from 9 o'clock in the morning till is it 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock in the afternoon?
3 o'clock. 3 o'clock.
3 o'clock.
8.2 cents a kilowatt.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Then in that case, Michael, look, to be honest, you've got very little to lose, because, in fact, I don't even think that plan's a year old. So.
Okay, that could be it then. Yeah.
So I don't think it's a year old, Michael. So. Oh no, but you said you've had to renew it twice. So you've got the old plan.
No, I've got the new plan, which is the 8 cents a kilowatt.
Yep.
Between 9 o'clock and 3 o'clock.
Yep. 50 cents from 3 till 9, 3 p.m. to 9 p.m. Is that right?
Yeah,
51 cents.
Something like that. And then it's cheap from is it 9 or 11 p.m. till 4 a.m. or something.
Yep. But the discount's quite low. It's only a few cents off compared to the 8 cents during the daytime. So really, you're better off charging your car during the daytime.
Well, that's what I do. I do. And we have solar and we have a battery.
But that plan only started less than 6 months ago, I think, from memory.
March, Harold. I looked at mine and it
came March. Thanks, Steve. So 9 months ago.
That would be about right.
Yep. In which case, look, I would just allow sleeping dogs to lie and see how it goes. And if you notice that for some reason they've dropped you off that plan, then complain and they'll reinstate you. But your only potential loss is just the slight discount overnight compared to the huge discount you get during the daytime anyway. So I wouldn't fret over it too much, Michael.
Okay. Well, our battery lasts all night in any case. So, yeah.
Awesome.
All
righty. Paul, you got your hand. No worries. Paul, you got your hand up.
Yeah. I just had a quick question. Oh, sorry, Paul.
Sorry, wrong Paul. Sorry.
I did have mine up there for a bit, but anyway, you go ahead.
Go, Paul. No, go. You go, Paul. Paul 1 and P2 can go after. I was going to say PV, but you're both PVs. So anyway,
well, I'm P1.
I just wondered whether anybody just quickly.
Well, I'm the original.
Went down for a few days down to Wonnerup, which is just out of Falcon near Port Bouvard, and the charging experience around there is pretty bloody poor. I had to go into Mandurah to get use the RAC charging solutions. Only the one charging point there. I just wonder what wondered whether anybody had a similar experience. It's a bit of a gap in the in the end, I ended up going up to Coogee and using the new ones.
Yeah, that's great.
Mandra's supposed to get some superchargers. We're still waiting.
Right. Okay.
You always got to
Alex tells us that, but come on, Alex, when's it going to happen?
Elon, I know we know Elon's listening. Come on.
Okay, so we'll go to Paul, other Paul, and then we'll go to Damo.
I had a question about, like the autopilot, the sin bin thing that they've got. Is it just normal autopilot or is it full self-driving sort of stuff? Because I haven't had any
normal autopilot. So if you're in normal autopilot and you don't do the steering wheel nag, which is pretty rare, but if you, as I think it was James last week, the week before, said that he was deliberately keeping his eye on his side mirror to check for a car that may or may not be overtaking him. And it sin binned him and basically gave him one strike. And if you get if you get 5 strikes, and we don't really know whether that's for the rest of your ownership of the car or for a number of weeks or days or months or what, you then get sin binned for a week of not being able to use autopilot whatsoever. So,
I haven't got any strikes, but it's it's one of those things.
Just autopilot. I've got 2 personally. I've got 2 strikes, and I don't dare get another because I haven't found a way of actually it telling you how many strikes you have. There's no strike tally, so I can't look it up.
It's in autopilot under autopilot features, and it says if autopilot disables 5 times due to improper use. I don't know how many strikes the car has given me. Say this.
You'll know when it hits 5, Harold.
But it'll say this vehicle. Yeah.
You won't
yeah, you'll hit 5. No, so but then it gives you the tally. Gives you your tally.
Yeah. Sorry, it does give you the tally, does it? Of how many strikes you've got?
Yeah, because it says mine. I don't have any such events yet, but I was just trying to figure out because I had my hand on the steering wheel, but it sort of did it did the sin bin thing.
Yeah.
And I was looking straight, so then I think it must have dropped itself off.
I don't think I've had a strike yet, but I've had a lot of occasions where it has told me off and tried to sin bin me for doing things that were perfectly legitimate, and all I've done is just press the wheel and said bug report every time. Because if I'm dodging a dead roo on the road and it's telling me that I shouldn't be crossing the white line and tries to sin bin me, I'm just going to go, bug report. Or if I'm driving down 200 kilometers of dead straight road, and obviously I'm not putting very much weight on the steering wheel because it's a dead straight road and the wheel, the alignment's good. I don't need to put any force on it, and it tells me I'll just go bug report, and hopefully they'll fix it.
There's also a little information symbol as well on the display in your autopilot settings next to it. If you tap that, that's when it shows you there have been this number of whatever.
Oh, great. Okay, cool. Because then we'll be able to work out eventually if it wears off, as demerit points do.
Yeah.
But hopefully over a shorter period of time.
After 5 strikes, I think you've got to do a nudie run through Kings Park. Mandatory, apparently. Oh, that's what I heard. So,
can you do that in advance and get credit?
Oh, they get autopilot.
But you've done 2 strikes.
Yeah.
No, you'll just get arrested.
They instantly put you in the sin bin for that. Yeah. Different sort of sin bin.
All right, Damo, you've got your hand up.
Just on that, Paul, I haven't had any strikes either, man, and I'm 98% autopilot, so don't know. But anyway, Harold, I've just got a quick one. Are the cons back in stock yet for the club?
No, we can still lend them, but we haven't got them yet.
Is there an ETA on getting them back?
No, not right this minute. Not until they land. I'm not giving out anything until I've got them. Otherwise, it's just ether.
Yep, no drama. I know someone that's more 95% gonna order one soon, and they want me to give them a hand setting up their charger and get my mate the Sparky to install it and stuff.
Oh yeah, cool. Yeah, no.
They want to go 3-phase.
Cool, awesome. I'll let you know as soon as it's in, Domo.
Thanks. Cheers.
Cool. Alrighty. James Maitland, you've got your hand up.
Yeah, it looks like it's per car as well, not just per driver.
Right.
Because I've just gone and checked my car here, and it says there's no strikes.
They can sleep
Yes, it
easy.
is. It is per car, and the pernicious thing is, if you have a rental car or a Turo car or whatever it is, and your previous client deliberately or non-deliberately or negligently or ignorantly or just didn't know, if they rack up those strikes, that means that that asset no longer has autopilot available for a week. And
You're right.
don't think you can ring Tesla and go, hey, Barleys, I'm renting this car out. Can you reset it for me? If they did have to do that, their call center would be pretty busy.
Yeah, so I thought it was per driver, but it's per car because I've got no strike on the Y, which is here, but the 3's back at home. That's 500 k's away, so I can't check that one. But,
yeah. It's look. There's a little bit to be critiqued with the way they've implemented the system at the behest of, or at the direction of, the American National Transportation and Highway Safety thingy, whatever. NHTSA.
Okay, let's hear about Shane Parker and his wonderful trip. Hey!
So Shane, let's get the difficult bits out. We had the entertainment of the Cummins stickered gopher at Sandfire, and that was quite entertaining.
Did we get that through last week? Was that last time we were on here, was it?
I think it was. I'm pretty sure it was.
You're in Karratha. You hadn't been to Sandfire yet.
Oh no, you're in Karratha. So actually, tell us.
We'd had bugger all entertainment by then.
That was just a standard road trip. That was just nothing on earth.
Actually, that was 2 weeks ago too, because we didn't have we had a casual meetup last week. Although I've potentially ruined it for everyone, please tell us how things went once you left Karratha.
I can't remember. That was a while ago.
Then we went to Port Hedland, which was fine. We had to go very slowly because it was a long way, but we made it.
Yes, we did. I think we did.
Hot. Wait a minute. Was that the day that it was so hot that we used 14% just on climate control?
That was the day before.
Oh, well, anyway, we've used 14% before on a leg on just climate control because it is freaking hot in the north of WA. Well, was, but it might still be, but we're not there, thank God.
So as we left Karratha the next morning, we bought how many of those foil window shade things? You know, the fold out plastic things that you put in the front of your windscreen. We bought 4 or 5 or 6.
They were near 7.
7 of those apparently. And we trimmed those back and gaffer taped them into the various crevices of the car.
I made it look like a mobile meth lab.
Yeah, we did look a little bit like a mobile meth lab. It worked though.
It was cooler.
It definitely worked. I would recommend putting 2 layers in, not just one.
And definitely in the roof.
Yep, definitely in the roof. Yep.
But
I know that Grumpy says you don't get sunburnt through the roof.
You might not get sunburnt, but yeah, bloody hot.
There's a lot of heat comes through that roof.
Yeah.
And if you could keep that heat out of the car, then your aircon usage goes down and your energy consumption goes down massively.
But interesting observation about the fast DC chargers is that there's a hell of a lot of consumption used just to cool the batteries after the DC charge, especially obviously it's the middle of summer here. So the middle of summer, you've already got a hot car and a hot engine, and then you've massively heated up the batteries during a fast charge in some of the fast charge places. And we're finding a lot of consumption is used for the first 20 minutes or so of drive time.
Maybe even a bit more. Yeah.
20 to 30 minutes.
50 Ks.
So
80 Ks.
It's really hard to find out what your average consumption figures are until that's settled down because you're using so much just on battery cooling. So you kind of just got to grin and bear it and kind of cross your fingers that you're at the right speed for your conditions to try and hope that you're at the right average by the time that all evens itself out.
Yeah,
Because if,
yeah,
you,
absolutely.
if you were to drive by your average consumption that you were looking for, you'd be doing 40 by the time it had balanced out the cooling for the batteries. So you can't obviously drive at that in those areas. So it's an observation that we didn't expect and we hadn't had before in various other places in the middle of summer. It's just the extreme heat has made a difference, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
What
So
sort of-
we turned the car into a meth lab, drove to Port Hedland, pulled into the pub, had a nice dinner, moved on from Port Hedland, made it to Pardue. Pardue, 100% recommend Pardue Station, Pardue Homestead Station, whatever you want to call it. Go there.
Great bunch
Like,
of people. Great place. Great bunch of
It's
people.
a day and a bit from Perth. Go there, spend a weekend. They're great. We rocked up. The charge point that was supposedly there wasn't there anymore because it was apparently installed by an electrician as a temporary thing, and they disappeared with it. And then they had 20 amp sockets that didn't work. And but I still highly recommend going there because we still ended up with a 32 amp socket that we could charge from. They just bent over backwards and made it work.
Great people.
They were brilliant. And and he'd been looking at installing EV chargers and was saying, oh gee, these things are expensive. He was looking at D chargers and so forth. And I just said, dude, just install a 32 amp socket everywhere. When you got them big boards, install one of them. And that's what he's going to do. And I think Tok was doing something, Harold.
Yeah, we're sending up a HPWC, a Tesla wall connector, for free to them shortly. So that'll be sent up to them in the next few weeks, so they can install it for anyone visiting Pardue Homestead to use.
Brilliant.
Yeah, and they're only 10 k's maybe off the highway. It's a bit of a gravel road, but it's well worth it. And the feed you get there is brilliant.
Great pool.
Nice pool. Yep. Anyway, so we moved on from there.
To answer Brad's question, yes, if you go to the graph icon at the bottom and then go to your drive setting, you'll be able to see the climate control. I think it's the third thing. If you go down, it'll tell you what percentage you're using under climate control and how much above expected that is for the journey.
Thank you. Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Yes, you have to navigate to somewhere to see that.
It's under drive.
It must be good, Shane, sleeping in the caravan in 39-degree heat in Port Hedland or wherever you are.
We've got an
There's an air conditioner over there, brother.
Good design.
It's currently set at 17. It's lovely and cool and nice and dry. Trust me, it's a good idea.
It's a great idea.
An aircon is not a good idea.
No, especially not this.
So tell us about the next stop, which was Sandfire.
Sandfire, yeah, we made it we made it, well, no, 100 k's up the road, 150 k's up the road. And
we had high hopes of a 32 amp socket, and there was one there, but it was taped off with gaffer tape or masking tape.
No, gaffer tape. It was gaffer taped up.
So we did sort of do a bit of begging and pleading in, what was it, 45-degree heat, saying, you know, there's one there. Is it possible we can use this one?
Before we did the begging and pleading, we showed up and we said, you know, we're here and we'd like to use your charge point. And they said, no worries. It's a $20 donation to the RFDS or whatever it was. So we put the money in the tin, as you do. It's the same as Madura Pass and a few others. They're a bit like that. That's fine. And pulled around the back, and sure enough, here's this 32 amp plug, and it's got a bit of gaffer tape over it. And we're like, okay, well, right next to that, there's a couple of 15 amp plugs. So how about we plug into the 15 amp plug?
Well, we figure it out.
And we'll figure out what's going on with this 32 amp plug that we've just, you know, made a donation to be able to use. And 15 amp plug number 1 didn't work. Neither did number 2 or 3 or 4.
So we went over to the caravan park.
So yeah, so while Sarah's trying to figure out what's going on with the 32 amp, I was about to pull over to the caravan park, and a bunch of staff pulled up. One of them on an electric gopher, with a Cummins badge on the front of it, and quite properly told me that there was absolutely no way I could pull 20 kVA out of this socket. And I went, okay, that's no worries. I'll dial it down if you like. Would 10 be okay? Absolutely not. Okay, how about 5? Absolutely not. Okay, no worries. Well, how about we just have a caravan park site then? So we then went over to the caravan park and probably pulled more than 5, shall we say, without any trouble whatsoever. Never mind, attitudes of people.
But it was very, very, very hot.
It was.
Like 47 degrees, 48 degrees while all this faffing was going on. Not the type of weather you want to be faffing around in.
No.
Because in the midst of this, we had to move the caravan, put the caravan up, move it to a different socket and change it again and move it again. And it was very warm. Very, very warm.
That's right. It's part of the adventure. It will be quite nice when the Sandfire DC charger shows up and you pull up and you put your credit card against the little symbol and it goes
to somewhere else
and whizzes and pops and out comes the electrons.
What did we end up spending at that place? Because we ended up overnighting because the power supply was so intermittent and so unreliable and so slow and all of the things.
Yeah.
It was a very long and expensive night.
Yeah. So Sandfire was not fun. And Lagrange's not there yet. So
we had a Sandfire to
we had Sandfire to Roebuck Roadhouse.
Roadhouse.
Which was 287 kilometers on reasonably flat ground. But with our range, we can't do 287 kilometers in one hit. We can do close, but not quite that much.
There was a solar power caravan jump to the rescue.
pretty much. We had a backup. We had a backup option where we could pull into a caravan park.
That one?
Yeah, we did.
On that one.
At Bidgidanga. You could go to Bidgidanga.
It wasn't Bidgidanga that we had lined up. It was
the beach place.
Yes.
That was on the previous leg.
Hang on.
Eco Beach.
No, it wasn't Eco Beach because they had closed. Portsmouth Caravan Park.
Oh, that's Portsmouth leg.
We lined up that if everything went pear-shaped, because this was the first time we were going to be absolutely relying on the caravan to get us out the other end. So we'd lined up with Portsmouth that if things went south, we could pull in and charge up. They were okay with that?
They were a long way off the road, so it was not ideal. It would have been not ideal.
But as it turned out, it was fantastic. We pulled into a nice little roadhouse. Yes. Yeah, that goal. Yeah, that's the one.
What was that day? I was thinking of the other day. Yeah, no, that was great. Very late.
We pulled in there. Sarah nearly sat on a snake come frog.
Oh, I don't know what that was in the toilet, but I didn't want to see it again.
It was cool. We charged the car up and moved on. Got to Roebuck Roadhouse and we're very, very happy because we just knocked over at 287 and that's what we needed to do from Fitzroy to
Halls Creek. The following day.
Next day. Day after. Sorry. So we made it all the way to Broome. Stripped off, jumped in the ocean, poled out again, charged up in the process, took off, went all the way to Derby, then come back to Willair before we headed east.
Stayed at Willair. Nearly trod on a snake.
Yeah, stayed at Willair. That was cool. Well, that was all right.
No, it wasn't.
We come out alive. It's all right. Moved on to Fitzroy Crossing. Had a lovely breakfast in Fitzroy Crossing.
Only people in the resort restaurant. That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very interesting the different attitudes from people as you're traveling around, because you get like old mate with his Cummins badge on his Gopher, who's quite happy with his electric Gopher, but absolutely refuses to charge an electric car for any reason he can think of. But then you get to, well, like Pardue, where they bend over backwards, or you get to Fitzroy Crossing, where they're like, yeah, no worries, just plug it in out the front, away you go.
Come and sit in our aircon.
Come and sit in the air conditioning, yeah. No, we don't do rooms by the hour. You can't have a nap. Honestly, we were after a room for a nap.
Just a nap. Really nice air conditioned nap would have been great.
And then we had a big leg that was up the big hill, 300 odd meters from Fitzroy Crossing to Halls Creek. That was
long
and slow and hot and really hot, because it was like the middle of the heat wave.
And we had to do a car from van charge in the middle of it.
Yes, we did.
Which was hot and long.
Yep.
Hot. Did I mention it was hot?
But we did end up sitting in the caravan with the air conditioner going in the caravan to keep initially to keep the inverter cool, because the inverter was overheating. And then I was like, well, hang on a minute, let's just actually set the caravan up, sit inside in the aircon, and then it worked fine. Yeah, it was actually quite comfortable then, wasn't it?
Much better once we figured that out. Yeah.
And then on
We
to
made it.
we made it to Halls Creek
Before dark.
with, I don't know, what was it, 40 minutes in Halls Creek, and
And
we're
it was
on
New Year's Eve as well.
New Year's Eve, yeah.
You got
On to
your tyres stolen, Shane, off the car in Halls Creek?
beg your pardon?
The tyres would have been stolen off the car in Halls Creek.
That would have been probably a good thing.
At that point, we had them booked in for Darwin to replace, so they could have done us a favour.
I might have got them insurance if that had happened. But
It was all good. It was
yeah, the inside of the rear ones were getting pretty flogged out by then. They weren't great before they left Perth, but I figured they had a few, 5 to 10,000 Ks left, and yeah, I overestimated. They probably only had 3,000 Ks left in them.
They were fun. They did the job.
Yeah,
They did the job.
they got there, made it to Darwin.
Then we got to Halls Creek. Then we went to Warman, expecting a super nice fast.
Tell us what how the Halls Creek charge went. I'm just trying to get an image spooled up on the computer. So tell us about Halls Creek.
It was an experience. The toilets were locked, which is kind of alarming because 287 kilometers later, you kind of need the facilities to be open. Like, after how long did it take us? 4.5 hours or something.
It was a long time.
It was very hot and long.
But we pulled into Halls Creek, and one of us stayed with the car at all times. There were a few locals that, well, I assume they were locals. There was a bunch of people wandering around town, quite aggressive, I would say, seemingly intoxicated. I mean, I guess it was.
It was New Year's Eve.
It was New Year's Eve, so
I was really glad the DC charger worked in Halls Creek. Put it that way.
Yeah, we went down to the local IGA and
We rolled in on how much?
$0.
-0.
Mm,
We had
was
to
Halls
find
Creek the
the charger.
-0? Was -0. Okay, we were -0 at Halls Creek. I can't remember. There's been a few we've rolled in on zeros. Yeah, we were -0 at Halls Creek, I think.
It needed to be working.
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean,
if
it wasn't, it wasn't the end of the world. If we didn't want to stay there, we could have just topped up with the caravan and moved out of town and sat somewhere quietly. But
yeah, it was really good.
It was really good as working. We moved on to Warman. Warman wasn't working, and that was disappointing at the time. But as it turns out, that was actually a really good thing, because the drive from Warman into Kununurra
was really pretty.
Absolutely magical drive. It really is a magical drive.
And we wouldn't have seen it because it would have been pitch black. So we ended up at Warman, New Year's Eve Warman, in a closed roadhouse caravan park, which thankfully had the doors unlocked, the gates unlocked to the caravan park, and the power still on to the 15 amp units. So we did ring them and leave a message to say that we were camping the other night, and then we paid as soon as they were open on the 2nd of January. But we were really, really grateful for the fact that they hadn't turned their switchboards off when they went away for the 2 nights of New Year's. So it worked out really well. And,
So this is the photo that Shane or Sarah took of the Kempower unit, the WAEV network unit at Warman, and it was dutifully.
You're right, Harold. It was actually working. It just wasn't working very fast.
It was putting out 3.3 kilowatts.
I guess technically that's working.
it wouldn't have been a very happy New Year if we'd waited there for that long and then kept going for sure.
No, so unfortunately the WAV network turned out to be a little bit brittle on New Year's Eve.
It did. But to our advantage in the end, but we didn't really think so at the time.
I think that there was only 2 on the WAEV network that failed us. One we knew was down before we got there.
Overlander.
The Ben Overlander, yep. And then the Warman one. The rest of them we didn't have any trouble with. So that was good.
We had another failure today in Bowen. In Queensland. So the DC didn't work, but the AC was working, so we got a bit of charge. We were staying here, so it didn't really matter. But yeah, bit of a pain.
So what a surprise, because when I went there in September, Bowen didn't work, and Ayr didn't work, and Miriam Vale didn't work. Proserpine blew up. Anyway, keep going.
We have been talking about this little patch.
Air worked. No worries, but yeah, Bowen today didn't. But we didn't actually need Bowen. We were going to just shove some stuff in and then maybe do some exploring. But as it turns out, we didn't get an opportunity anyway, so it didn't matter. But yeah,
that's it, really.
The only time we've had to wait for a charge was yesterday at Ayr. When some bloke had rolled in on a Y and was sitting there charging at 87% when we rolled up. I don't know where you need to go.
I also am going.
All right, keep going.
Yeah, I don't know where he'd need to go with more than 87% from here without a charge point. But that's okay.
We had to disconnect there too for the first time, so all the rest have been drive-throughable with the caravan towing.
Yep.
Yesterday it was in the centre of the median strip.
Yeah, it was like the centre parking thing, and yeah, you'd probably be a bit rough to park half the car on one lane and half the caravan on the other. Probably wouldn't work. But yeah,
we'll have more of those heading south too.
Yeah.
So you've basically done one capital city and you've got 5 to go.
Yeah, I don't put it like that, Harold. We're in gravy train now.
Yeah.
Like we're proper gravy train. We got
land.
we got all the time in the world to get ourselves to Sydney. We got some rallies to see in Brisbane on the way through. We've got a few fans apparently to see in Rockhampton.
A few fans invited us to stay in Rockhampton.
So we got a property in Rockhampton to rock up with, and they're offering wine. So
they do.
Come and say hello.
Awesome. Well, there's a great radio interview that you participated in, Shane, this morning, and
I spent quite a lot of effort putting some pictures to that.
Yeah, I think you did. So I think I might honour that effort by actually airing it here. It does go for about 9 or 10 minutes, but it's highly entertaining and definitely worth it. So please, if anyone's got noise in their background, just mute yourselves while I just play this.
To check in with a Perth couple who are driving their EV around Australia. What's new about that, you say? They're doing it, towing a caravan.
A caravan.
A caravan. And when I asked why they're doing it, they said, well, all the naysayers said that it couldn't be done. EVs don't have enough grunt to pull a caravan around. So they thought they would set out to prove the naysayers
there's
wrong.
certain things that you want to be a first for, but to be stuck on the middle of a Nullarbor and go, oh, they were right. I don't want to be that person.
Well, Are they right? Are they right,
Well,
the naysayers?
I
Or
guess
could they
you'll
be
find
proved
out.
wrong?
So they must have to do a really big map on where are all the points that we can, because solar power, you can't get those solar panels on your car yet that just charge your EV.
Well, stay tuned to mornings because, yeah, you do need to know where the charging stations are, but they've done something quite clever and nifty with their caravan to ensure they've got a little backup source of power as they go. Now, if you're among the increasing number of Australians hitting the road in an EV, an electric vehicle, you might be interested to hear what my next guest has to say. He's currently on the Big Lap, as it's known, in Queensland this morning and midway through a 6-week trip around the country. Nothing unusual about that, you might say. Plenty of grey nomads are doing the same. And in fact, around 31 laps of Australia have been completed in EVs since 2011. That's according to the Tesla Owners Club of WA. But the difference here, Shane and his partner Sarah are also towing a caravan with their Tesla. So we thought we'd catch up and see how it's going. Spoke to Shane earlier this morning.
Good morning, Damien. How are you?
I'm well, thanks. Now tell me where you are right now.
We are in Bowen. We just arrived in Bowen last night.
Fantastic.
So we're looking forward to maybe doing a bit of sailing later this afternoon.
Oh, very nice. So tell me what's inspired this lap around Australia.
Well, I have a bit of a strong dislike of politicians and vested interests and people like that making up misinformation and spreading it around. I can sort of be a bit of a keyboard warrior and make comments online, or you can just do it. So I got sick of making comments and decided to just do it and prove the naysayers wrong.
And what were the naysayers saying, Shane?
I think you remember we had a politician once who said that EVs can't tow a caravan.
Right.
So we thought we'd prove it well at once and for all.
Okay. And how are you going so far? So how long have you been on the road and how long's it taken you?
We left on Boxing Day and left from Perth on Boxing Day. And we wanted to meet some family in Townsville that only had a certain amount of time off. So we sort of dashed up the west coast and across the top to get there in time. We've got another family commitment in Sydney coming up, so we're probably going to slow down a little bit to make that on time. And then we're back in Perth start of February. So we've got 6 weeks altogether.
Okay, great. And what's the situation with charging stations? Have you been able to find them at regular intervals so you're not getting too nervous about the battery?
No, well, if you've done a bit of EV road tripping, it becomes, a lot of people ask, how far can you go before you need to charge? Well, the answer is you go to the next charge station. So you basically control your driving and adjust what you're doing on the road to make sure that you make the next charge station. So no, we haven't had any trouble finding another charge station. Ultimately we can plug the caravan into a 15 amp caravan park socket and park up for the night, and in the morning we're ready to go again.
And can you charge the EV from the caravan?
Yes, we can. Yes, we can. I work for a company called Zenith Energy. We build hybrid power stations out in the desert to run mine sites and stuff. So they're all solar and wind and the like. So the guys at work are pretty enthusiastic about the whole renewables thing, and they're pretty educated and experienced in what can and can't be done. So between them and a bit of advice from them and a bit of creativity on my own part, we made the caravan such that we can charge at 5 kilowatts, which is, if anyone's driven an EV, they'll be, I don't know, maybe reasonably impressed. We can charge 5 kilowatts standalone out in the middle of the nowhere. And we could put about a third of a battery charge in from the van. And if we're in a caravan park, we can charge at 7 kilowatts. So that it charges the car quite fast. I mean, it's not a 5-minute stop, but if you park up for the night, you go and have a shower and come back and the car's full.
That sounds pretty nifty. Shane Parker is your guest on ABC Radio Perth and WA mornings with Damien Smith today, and he's talking you through his lap around Australia in an EV, towing a caravan, if you don't mind. Tell me more about the caravan, Shane. Is it a special kind of caravan or just the regular type you get off the shop floor?
Well, you got it off the shop floor in 1986. It'd be a regular caravan. Yeah, we bought it off of, well, when we decided that we wanted to do this, we thought, well, first we've got to need a caravan. So we got on Facebook Marketplace and found an old caravan from 1986. It had the aerodynamics of a brick because I guess, the fuel price was, it was 1986. And it didn't have an aircon, didn't have a fridge, didn't have a table. Well, it did have a fridge, but it didn't work very terribly well. Didn't have a table, had a little tiny bed. You couldn't camp off grid. And one of the things we want to do is camp on the Bight and at Madeira Pass and watch the sunrise and things like that. So yeah, we modified it to have a lot better aerodynamics. We stuck a king-size bed in it and a table, and obviously put the batteries in the floor of the caravan so that we could charge the car. And then the question is, if you've got essentially a jerry can in your caravan, how big a jerry can do you need? So we didn't quite know that answer, so we put solar panels on it as well, lots of them. So it's kind of like the magic pudding of jerry cans, if you like. We can top up off the caravan, drive a few hundred Ks and top up again. Yeah, so it's a very heavily modified 1986 caravan.
And did you think, I mean, are you aware of anyone else that's tried to do this? Like, do you know of other people who have towed a caravan with an EV all the way around Australia?
I know of plenty that have towed a caravan. I don't know of anybody who's done it all the way around Australia. I do know of another chappie in Perth who is planning to do a bit slower lap with his family and a much bigger caravan later on this year. And I've got a few friends who've lapped Australia in their cars. One of them managed to do a lap in his Model Y in just 10 days last year. I want to see a bit more of the country than that, though, so yeah. I'll do it a little bit slower.
Well, because you did, I understand, do a trip last year from Perth to Sydney and back again, just in the car. Were there, things you learnt from that trip that you've applied to this one?
Yes. Well, Sarah actually drove her Atto, so a BYD Atto. That's also an electric car. It's more of an SUV thing. Mm-hmm. She drove that from Perth to Sydney and back on her own for the same event that we're going to in Sydney this year, actually. And I drove my car I went to see my grandfather in Port Lincoln, and we actually drove the Nullarbor in tandem on the way back. So yeah, we learned a few things on that trip. We're quite looking forward to seeing the improvements in the infrastructure in South Australia. I believe they've installed a bunch more fast chargers than what they had last time around, so we're looking forward to that. But yeah, we learned how to titrate out, I guess the word is. We meter out the amount of charge we've got to make sure we make the next destination over the really long legs. It's a little bit of skill involved in it, but once you've got it, the car can, tell you all the details of how you're travelling, so.
Yeah. And do you, everyone knows what camping sites are like. Do you get much attention from fellow travellers? Do they sort of ask you what you're doing and how you're doing it?
We've had some very interesting conversations. They're actually fantastic. There's a guy in Katherine who literally pulled us off over the side of the road. He just flagged us down and spent 10, 15 minutes talking to us. And there was plenty of interest when we got to Barkly, because Barkly Homestead, it's like the last pub in the Northern Territory before you hit Queensland. So it's right out there in the middle of nowhere. And we had, a good half dozen people, different groups of people coming to talk to us about the van and, what are you doing here kind of thing. How did you get here? I just didn't know that was possible. and that was kind of the point, to prove that it is possible and that don't believe everything you read online.
Well, I wish you well, Shane, you and Sarah. You're midway through this trip, and we hope to see you back in WA safe and sound. And I'm going to call it, let's just call you, we don't know of anyone else. Let's call you the first people to do it. If you can complete this lap, EV with the caravan, let's do it.
I think we are, and we're really looking forward to it. We'll maybe chat when we get back to Perth.
Yeah, no, I'd love that. Good on you, Shane. Thanks for the chat.
Cheerio. Thanks.
Damien Smith on ABC Radio Perth and WA.
Now, Shane Parker, who together with his partner Sarah White are touring Australia in their EV while towing a caravan. If you want to follow their adventure, you can. You just search for Attogals EV Adventures on Facebook and you will find them there. Another Damien on the text line says, good on them, just like anyone doing a lap of Australia. Just have to be prepared with fuel, supplies, etc. This guy's done nothing different to that. I don't understand the hysteria from traditional four-wheel.
Oh.
Yeah, whatever. That was great. Very good, Shane.
I'm glad you approved. It took me quite a while to put all those pictures against that audio.
Hey, that was awesome.
Very good, Shane.
And Shane, you mentioned that you didn't want to be a keyboard warrior, and it's always better.
Yeah.
Let me just turn the green screen off. You explain. This is actually almost as old as your caravan.
Well, I noticed that caravan, Shane, is a cub.
It was once upon a time.
Well,
But Harold has a what Harold's holding up there now is actually the University Engineers Club from UWA. That's their T-shirt from way back when, and the Latin that's on there says basically, "Don't talk about it, just bloody do it."
Why the odds and dice?
That's actually, so the Swan is the Swan River, the spanners is the engineering part, the pipes is the smoking, the dice and the cards is gambling, and then you've got the drinking at the top.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So that encompasses everything that engineers need to do.
I'm trying.
Rosewood Casino.
So there you go. So rather than talking about it, these two are doing it.
Don't talk about it, just do it. Yeah, that's kind of where we're coming at this from.
Yeah, and the thing is, you are pioneers. I mean, you were quite incorrect. You are absolutely the first to tow a caravan. In fact, you've done it 7,500 Ks, and I can tell you now, no one has done that. So you are true pioneers.
Well, that bit wasn't actually, well, it was supposedly the trickiest bit, and that was pretty easy. It
wasn't that easy, but it was doable.
Wasn't supposed to be easy in 12 months.
It will be easy in 12 months' time.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but you guys are averaging about what, 500K a day?
Oh, it was possibly a little bit more than that to start with, but we had my brother unfortunately only had a certain amount of time that he could get off work, and he's got quite the boat, and he lives on the Great Barrier Reef and has a whole pile of dive gear. So
unfortunately, we had to make do and get there yesterday.
So, yeah, there was, and I've only been promising him for like 23 years that I'm going to come and visit him. So I kind of had to make it work. So we missed a bunch of the Northern Territory that I would have really liked to have spent more time in.
But the Great Barrier Reef,
it was worth it.
It was worth it.
I think it's called necrotourism, isn't it? When you're like, I want to see this before it's gone.
Yes, absolutely.
It was worth every minute. It was the most amazing thing ever. So if you ever get a chance to dive on the Great Barrier Reef, take the opportunity.
Yeah, do it.
Yeah.
So we'll slow down a little bit now, down to Sydney, and then got some more rallies on the way. Well, basically all the way home from here. Pretty much we got rallies, but the only real actual date we've got set is in Sydney, and then the really sad date of being back to work.
That's good.
Absolutely. And the good thing is you are going to be able to use the RAA charges at Port Augusta, Kimber, Woodner, Streaky
Yep.
Bay. Don't know
Yep.
about Ceduna. Actually, is Chuck still with us? He might have gone. No, Chuck is with us. Chuck, do you have any news about Ceduna? Because unfortunately, according to the RAA's website, Ceduna was under construction in December last year. But there's no photos or no activity on PlugShare that indicates something's actually happened. So have you heard anything?
Haven't heard anything, no. I know the picture that's on PlugShare is of a completely different area in the town. So just ignore that.
Yeah.
It's going to be actually at the Foreshore Hotel, the one that Robin recommend for lunch all the time.
Oh, great. Cool.
At the end of the pier there, it's lovely.
Yeah. But I haven't seen any pictures on any other groups or anything like that.
Yeah, we're currently planning Ceduna as an overnighter, because it's looking like it's going to be an overnighter.
And we want to be full before we go to the Bunda Cliffs anyway. So
Yeah, we're going to want a full caravan and a full car
to go off grid for a
before
night.
we go off there. Yeah.
One bit of news, Chuck, and I frustratingly don't have the photos handy because Messenger on Facebook on a PC is just literally useless. But to try and get photos. But Shane, you saw basically a fast DC charger installation at Three Ways, which is actually big news.
That's very big news. That thing was looking pretty close. I didn't see the hardware, as in I couldn't see any sea containers or pallets or anything kicking around. But I did see some conduits poking out of the ground at one end. And were there cables hanging out of it? I think there were cables hanging out of it. And I saw a pulpit that about halfway along. And then I saw some more conduits hanging out of the ground at the other end and some concrete slabs.
We should run a poll on what everybody reckons they're charging at the moment per kilowatt at Three Ways Roadhouse.
Ooh.
$1 a kilowatt.
Per kilowatt hour.
Cold.
$1.50.
Cold.
$1.80?
Comma.
$1.80.
$1.80.
Wow.
That's $83 or something.
Yeah.
$83.
That's a record. That's a record for Australia.
Absolutely ridiculous. Our jaws were on the floor.
That's a proper scam, that one. A proper scam.
That's Caledonia style pricing.
No,
The second highest is $1, I think.
Caledonia is, I think, $20 a charge. $1 a kilowatt hour.
$2 a kilowatt hour. It's $1 a kilowatt hour.
$2?
Yes.
Caledonia is $2 per kilowatt hour.
I don't remember paying that. Maybe I didn't put that much in.
No, they've put it up. No, Shane, they've put it up. The proprietors had a visit some months ago and instructed the staff to increase the cost to $2 per kilowatt hour.
That's possibly because somebody broke the walkway.
That was just a thing. It was brittle.
Let's get on to the exciting stuff, which is this. So this is the conduits that you described.
Yes. So no cables, but yes, conduits and a pulpit halfway along. So they're the pulpit. So yep. Okay. So we'll go back one. Go back to the pulpit. Okay. So that's standing looking northeast. Sorry, towards where the servo is. And that's looking directly towards the power line at the other end. That's the car and the caravan. You can see the distance there. And over there is where the Stovey pole is standing, and there's conduits poking out there too.
Yeah, so this is the low voltage. This is the 240 volts 3-phase. But coming back in the other direction, this is the 22. This is the 22 kV feed from Tennant Creek. So what they're going to have to do is install I think you can see the conduit just here. It's a little bit, I don't think that's going to, I can't make that any bigger. But that there is, that's where they're going to put a transformer, one of those green transformers, because that one's just far too small, and it will go to this, which is clearly 2 fast DC chargers and the cabinet. So the cabinet will be here, distribution board, and then your 2 fast DC chargers, Kempowers probably, or something similar.
Super exciting. Providing it's reliable, it'll be amazing.
And the weird thing is, go Chuck.
I was going to say, so do you think this is one of the on-grid style ones, like what's been installed at, I think, Alice Springs?
Yes, it's on grid because it's actually, like I showed,
very similar
3
to
ways.
what they were installing at Catherine.
3 ways is on the grid from Tennant Creek.
Yeah.
And the whole setup looked almost like a carbon copy of Catherine.
Yeah, cool.
Who's doing the install there? Is it NT government or not NRMA yet? Is it? So who's doing the install?
NRMA.
No, that was NRMA.
Okay, good. About time.
The blue canvassy stuff that you could see, shade clothy type stuff you could see on this that had fallen down there. That all says NRMA. We're delivering the electric future. Blah blah blah.
So they should just pay them some money.
Do you happen to have the one from Catherine there, Harold?
No, because I think you sent that to me. Oh, that's on PlugShare, actually.
Pete Petrosky has the award for the Glen 20 award and the Rexona Body Odor Award because he slept in his car all around Australia, never got out. So he still does own that title. So you guys are coming in, second with the caravan, but Pete's still got that award going for him. So is that right, Pete?
No worries.
With the amount of humidity over here, I reckon we need the Glen 20 award as well.
No, well done, guys. Great effort. Great effort. You certainly showed him, Shane, that's for sure.
Yes, that's really interesting that you've got Tennant Creek and 3 ways because they are literally 20 kilometres apart, and you're going to have 4 fast DC chargers, which is great.
The 3-way one makes a lot of sense. Tennant Creek maybe less sense, but whatever, we'll take both.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the list from NRMA, and Tennant Creek isn't on there, so I think the three ways one is the Tennant Creek one. If that makes sense.
Oh.
But I thought that Hunter had actually on his X post had said that was from Tennant Creek, or did someone get that wrong?
I think he's calling that 3 ways one Tennant Creek because it's
well, Hunter, if you're listening, that's naughty because there is a difference, and it's like
Hunter should know.
And he would know. So, but that's cool. I guess if he's calling it Tennant Creek-ish, oh geez, okay. We'll have to see if someone else can clarify it.
Yeah, actually, I was looking through the list when I was making that previous map. I was looking through the list of names, and on the list of NT locations, it was only Warramungu, which is 3 ways.
Yes.
So 3 ways and Tennant Creek weren't named on there. Just
the next 2 really good ones would be is it Avondale? Or Avondale or Ranger Station, and then Camberwell. Those would be really good because you can't.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, the names were Tablelands and Rankin. So where exactly they are?
Okay. Rankin counts. Yep, and then Camberwell.
That's Rankin. Rankin's this green one here.
Yep.
And
Camberwell. Yep.
Yeah.
That'd be good.
And the one labelled Barclay Homestead is Tablelands.
Yes.
Yeah, well, Barclay Ham. That's spelled incorrectly, but that's okay. Barclay Homestead is that's a really nice place.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it changed hands for $10 or $12 million fairly recently.
Missed an opportunity there, I think.
Well, it's very lucrative because most people have to refuel, even in
I would
ice cars.
I would say everybody does. Yep.
Yep.
That's a very, for 10 million bucks.
Fancy, that's good.
It looked like a bargain at 10 mil.
Cool restaurant, cool,
The-
beautiful facilities. Very
Yeah,
impressive.
and it actually burnt down last year. They had to rebuild it, the restaurant area. There was a fire in the kitchen.
They get the best ablutions block award of the trip so far.
And no snakes.
No snake.
Oh, no.
They did have snake. They had a brown snake
They did too.
by the petrol pump. So, good job we didn't need the petrol pump.
Well, refueling with petrol is dangerous.
It is.
This is
So
true.
Look out for those brown snakes.
We're getting towards the last quarter of an hour of the show. So if there's anyone else that's got any questions or comments, please do it now. No? One great thing that happened was, Tesla got its 1.8 million cars built and delivered last year. So that still puts them in line with their 50% compound annual growth from 2021 or 2020, I think, one or the other. And it was great to see the Model Y be Australia's sixth best-selling car. But the thing is, if it wasn't for the stink bug debacle on the Glovis car carrier on the eastern seaboard, there's absolutely no doubt that the Model Y would have been the third highest selling car behind the Hilux and Ford Ranger. I think it would have beaten out the RAV4. So, Tesla is only going in one direction this year, and they actually did bring out a great video on YouTube showing the year in review. So anyone that's on YouTube will have a look at Tesla's video of that. Is pretty impressive, as well as the Cybertruck 1 minute ad basically for Cybertruck. That's also on YouTube is pretty cool. All right, you got any other comments? Oh, Damo, you got your hand up.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask Pete. Did you get the message I sent you about the repairs that got done on my car, Pete? It could only happen to me, eh?
What happened, Damo?
I was thinking I might give him a chance to fix it. I'll say, most people know that I had that bingle about 2 months ago. That girl rammed me, like reversed into me. And so I took the car to like a reputable collision shop, repair shop, and they done like a beautiful job, polished it all, everything. But the next day I noticed a dent in my back driver's side door, and the fog light isn't fitted properly. Couldn't believe it. And whoever dented that door would know they did it, Pete. But when I picked the car up, I sort of trusted them, and because it was all freshly polished, I couldn't really see it. But then I noticed it it stuck out like bloody anything the next day, I just
Did you raise it with them?
Yeah, I have. They were supposed to have a go of fixing it on the 9th, and they didn't call me or anything. So then I called them yesterday, and he said, okay, we'll do it then on I think the 15th or something, and he'll send me a message, and they still haven't sent me a message. So I guess I'm going to have to chase them again.
Right. So did they own up to
straight away, Pete?
Right.
Straight away. He didn't argue it or nothing. I reckon he knew about it.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was like honestly, it was like he was expecting my call.
Like he was, sorry, what?
It's like he was expecting my call. Like that's the feeling
Right.
I got, you know.
Okay.
So,
Right.
yeah, I'm pretty disappointed.
Well,
I'll give him
at least you know. Well, at least you have.
Yeah, I'll give him a chance to fix it before I say who it is.
Fault from their side.
You're breaking out really bad, Pete.
So, yep. Wi-Fi is really
Okay, so
leaving
it's
a
you,
lot
it's
to be
not me.
desired.
Harold, you muted or something, or it didn't say you are, but I can't hear you.
Sorry, so just to be clear, Domo, is this Tesla that's done the damage, or is this a third party panel beater?
Tesla approved collision center.
Yes, but are we talking? Is this work that Tesla did, or is this work that a
panel
a third? Right. Okay. So your beef is not with Tesla, Domo. Your
No.
beef is Oh, okay, cool.
I didn't say
No
my
worries.
beef. Tesla have
Oh,
got
cool. No,
nothing to do
that
with
just
it.
clarifying. Yeah, that's cool. Just to make sure.
Yeah,
it's clarifying.
I love Tesla, yeah, but as I said, I'll give these people a chance to fix it before I sort of say who it is. But I'm pretty disappointed, you know. Like as I said, this dent in the back door, you see it straight away, and whoever dented that door would know that they did it, you know. I can't believe that they'd polish it, everything, try and hand it back to me like that, obviously hoping that I wouldn't notice. It's pretty bad.
Well, let's just see what they do next, Domo, and that then determines what happens. Just a quickie, James, I see your hand, but Chuck, was this photo here, was this located as being Tennant Creek, or was this Catherine?
That was Alice Springs.
Oh, Alice Springs. Okay, gotcha. All right, so that is different. Yeah, cool.
Just
No
to
worries,
compare
yeah.
to compare the conduit layout and stuff.
Yeah, cool. No worries. Alrighty, James, you've got your hand up.
Yeah, just on the state of travel here, Nannup, beautiful little town. Free DC 50 kilowatt charging. Nice little bonus that, and you can reach there from Perth in a standard rear-wheel drive. So stop and put some money in the town. Beautiful
James,
town.
where are you staying, James?
We're down in Windy Harbour, so there's even no grid power down here. So we've charged up in Nannup and charged up in Pemberton, and we've got 80% here now.
Yeah, okay. No, it's just a lovely little place actually, just near where you're charging. But yeah, no, it's all right. All good. Good man.
No, Nannup's beautiful. Yeah, we love it. Yep.
Fantastic. Alrighty. Has anyone else got any other questions or comments? Because we're getting towards the end. Anyone?
George just sent me a message, Harold, because I recommended him this panel shop for his Model Y. Someone went up the bum of his of George's wife's car, Model Y. So he's taken it there to get a new back bumper fitted. They called him to go and pick the car up, he's saying, and then when he got there, there was no bumper on it still.
No, Domo, that was a very modern transparent bumper. So that's a new feature that you get.
Must have
Costs a
been
little bit
Harold.
extra. It's made of transparent aluminium, and it's super strong, and you can't even see it's there. So
It's the Model Y new clothes.
Starting to think they've got like no quality control at all, or a supervisor or whatever isn't going over the cars and contacting people to say it's ready, you know, like it's just strange.
That's what you call an over-the-air update.
Indeed it is. Indeed it is.
I got one last comment, if that's all right.
Go, Shane.
I think I'm just looking who's there. There's Harold. There's Pete. There's a few folks back home in Perth that I'd really like to say thank you to for blazing the trail and putting those little pins on PlugShare for us, because otherwise we wouldn't be doing this. And then you guys have been tracking us. You've been making sure that we're getting to the next destination, making sure that we're safe, and
It really means a lot.
it does mean a lot to us. We really appreciate it.
And probably give
Well said, Shane.
Rob a shout out as well, Shane.
Yeah, and look, the thing is, what you guys are doing is literally hasn't been done before, and you are true pioneers. Um, you know, any there was obviously, the first person to drive an EV around Australia, and that was Glenn George, and that was really pioneering. And then there were others that did it, in a first Tesla. But you guys are the first people on Earth to drive a caravan in an EV around Australia, doing in excess of 13,000 kilometres on a lap, and that's really pioneering and inspiring. And
We haven't got there yet. Let's call it in another 3 or 4 weeks.
true, it's an attempt. It's an attempt until it's completed.
We got the easy part left, but yeah, live long and prosper, and thank you, people.
Thank you.
Thank you for all.
And keep the drone footage up. It's awesome, and you got some great videos. They're crackers and worth every minute that you spend on them. There was a bit of an issue with the drone, but that's okay. The super glue came to the rescue. Very good. I guess you could always take it back to DJI under warranty, eh?
Possibly not.
Possibly not.
No.
I do have an issue with my hubcap. The chappie who replaced my tires in Darwin, he managed to break some of the plastic off the hubcap, and now as I drive it, it makes a bit of a rattle noise, but that's okay.
It sounds like an old jalopy.
It's just more authentic.
It's a roo scarer. That's what it is.
Yeah. Actually,
on that note,
well, you go.
We have noticed a really interesting feature of this trip is that obviously we're driving an EV, but we would have thought towing, we would have made a bit more noise. But the wildlife are just doing their thing until we're past them, or at least the front of the car's past them. And then they go, oh, there was a car, and get back to what they're doing, which is very unusual for this kind of driving. It's been quite a big relief, actually, because it doesn't scatter them in that random way that sometimes you used to get, in a ice car with kangaroos and wildlife and things.
Yeah, kangaroos. I've obviously spent a lot of time driving bush, and wildlife can sometimes be very, you sort of watch them and you go, oh, is his ears pricked up? Is he looking at me? And then which way is he going to go? They just sit there chewing the grass or drinking the water or doing whatever they're doing until you're right on top of them. And then they're like, oh, fuck. And by that stage, you're gone.
Absolutely.
Except for those cows in those narrow areas, hey?
Mount Isa.
Miss them, you're all good.
Mount Isa's got 2 cuttings where it's almost like vertical cliff face that they've cut into the little hill, and there's less than a metre either side. And when you get a Black Angus cow chewing the grass, it's just not pleasant.
Those cows are big, really big.
Yeah, and particularly aggressive in Queensland, as the signs say.
We'll do that next week. I'll have that image spooled up next week. Suffice to say, the Queenslanders are very descriptive when they describe. In WA, they just have a cow. In Queensland, they have a much better sign. Hey,
and the seatbelt sign is pretty cool too, to be fair, but I don't think we got one of them.
Yes, I don't know if I got one of them either, but it is quite good too. It is quite good.
You do a whole post of road signs in the NT in Queensland, I tell you.
Oh yes, we've got to show the NT warning
really
signs.
Helpful road signs. This road is damaged. We're not going to do anything about it, but just so you know, be careful.
In fact, there are so many signs that if they actually laid those signs on the damaged part of the road, it would make the road better.
Pretty much.
Alrighty, we're getting towards the end, so we might wrap this awesome show up, the first of 2024, and we'll obviously be back for next week's episode of Ask Us Anything.
From Sydney.
From Sydney, according to the Parkers. So, but you never know. Let's hope that all your further fast DC chargers work And do enjoy the one at Rockhampton and Calliope. That Rockhampton one's going to be a new one for anyone in WA, so enjoy it, guys. It's going to be awesome. Pete, how would you round out an awesome show like this?
As always, stay safe, stay sustainable, keep towing a caravan around Australia, and stay ahead of the curve.
And the best way to do that is buy a Tesla, buy a 1986 secondhand caravan, do it up for hundreds of hours, join TOCWA, and ask us anything about accelerating the world's transition to sustainable energy. Have a even more awesome trip, you two, in Bowen. And for everyone else, really look forward to seeing you on next week's episode of Ask Us Anything. Good night, everyone.
Cheers.
Thanks, guys.